trenches, nothing from the start of my portal. Who got out the chaos, no mama. Catch me at breakfast, see angels, no karma, yeah. I don't wanna be like him and I don't wanna see like them, thank God. You're when I talk my shit, cause I'm better than a man-made bitch. Like I'm just a demigod with a bigger role. Let the bullets off, better kill them all with a certain fall. Syrup with your bowl, with the honey storm. Got him with the floods, with some animals. Shoot the heaven's blood like a bomb.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in. Welcome in. Exciting time, Saturday night. My name's AnthonyMalum. Thanks for being on my channel for Rlss Round 1 Surge Cup between Untitled Esports Red and 5CE Onyx. I'm joined by my good friend. We've cast probably almost 500 games together at this point across different types of games. KingFsher. My friend, how are you?
Doing really good. I mean, my first Rocket League game, obviously, you had a little bit of experience in the last few weeks, but like you said, a lot cast together. Excited to add another game under our belts, hopefully do just as good. But yeah, it should be a good one already. Getting into I think the Middle League tournament too, so hoping to see a lot of good action here, a lot of teamwork, and some absolutely insane plays for you to yell about.
Yeah, I will be doing lots of that yelling too. I'm really excited because in all the researching I've done for these two teams, what fascinates me the most about this matchup, and it was kind of a similar thing to what was last week between Olivet and Mach 10 for me, and that was in Riptide. But for this, they kind of match each other's strengths and their weaknesses. Oh, thank you, Curio. I really appreciate the subscription. They match each other's weaknesses. So I'm expecting a kind of a similar thing. I'm expecting gutsy. I'm expecting. I don't know. I feel like this is one of those matchups where I can't see it being, a 4-0 sweep. I expect it to go, I can't guarantee the full 7, but I'd be shocked to see it not go at least like 6.
Yeah, obviously hoping for a more competitive match, and especially coming out of Onyx there. Of course, they won by forfeit victory in week 7, so they've had 1 week off. It can either be a really good thing or a really bad thing, maybe just some time to mentally reset, get yourself back together before the playoffs. But hopefully they've been either scrimming or playing ranked, just trying to dominate some casuals, whatever it may be, as long as they're not coming into this week completely cold. It should probably be good for them to get a little bit more experience under the belt. Because, like you said, it should be a long matchup. Two really good teams. Certainly wouldn't expect a sweep out of either one of them.
No, not at all. And thank you, Gray, as well, for another subscription. And hey, Inter, hope everybody's excited for the matchup. We're just kind of in the waiting period, waiting for the teams to get set up. But I'm really excited for this one. And last week was a lot of fun casting with D'Lo, but this is my dream team, and to tackle our third new game together is gonna be quite a time. And
Yep.
Another thing I'm excited about too is one thing the reason I bring up us casting together. We've cast a lot of playoffs together, and we've cast it from a range of divisions. We've cast all the way from starting brand new to competitive esports in general, all the way up to verging very much on the verge of turning pro for Smite. And something that always pops up in any game, which you wouldn't necessarily expect at kind of that community amateur level, is a lot of nerves potential for playoffs.
Absolutely, and I think that can come from two places, whether just players having expectations put on them by their teammates, people around them, or maybe even if it's inside their own head a little, wanting to perform, because there's no way getting around it. Playoffs feel different. It doesn't matter how many times you've been there, how experienced you are as a player. In the playoffs, games are just different. There's more riding on it. There's obviously going to be more stress, and seeing what teams are able to handle that more than others a lot of times just kind of determines who the winners are going to be, kind of who's able to harness that energy and really adapt quickly, which is something I think we say a lot of, especially in games like this, best of 7. Obviously, we we haven't had too many best of 7s,
Yeah.
but in best of 3s, best of 5s, adapting on the fly, staying in it, especially when your team is down, becomes so important in these long sets.
Yeah, you make a really good point too, because in what we're most accustomed to casting, which is Smite, which is a MOBA, the furthest you go is a best of 5, because the games take significantly longer. I mean, a best of 7 in Smite would be probably a 2-day affair. But I'm really excited to see that mentality shift, because if you go down 2-0, if you go down even 3-0, I'm really curious if the team on the unfortunate end of things can have a strong enough mentality to push through and say, all right, we're not going out like this. We absolutely can get that reverse sweep. It's not a question. Or if we see someone go down that 2-0, that 3-0, forbid, then it becomes a difficult thing. That's what I'd be worried about. That's what I don't want to see.
Absolutely. And one thing obviously hoping with Rocket League, because like you said, those games are so much shorter, you're obviously hoping to kind of, have that memory of a goldfish if you end up going down. Like, hey, that was bad. That was a really horrible 3 minutes. let's turn it around. It's not like something else like Smite where you have 50-minute games where you just get absolutely thrashed the entire time, can really take a toll out of those mentals. So seeing them kind of be able to push past that and hopefully have a short memory, not get discouraged, because it is best of 7. Although, like you said, if they go down, something like 3-0 might be difficult to come back with. A full reverse sweep. 2-0, though, probably a situation that's very possible for both of these teams.
100%. So far, I've been watching a lot of the streams today for Rlss because there's been a lot of games today. There's been a shocking amount of sweeps. I just watched one not long ago with Mach 10 Academy, who I cast last week with Dila. And they are a team that quite literally fits that exact mold that I was talking about. That never give up attitude, that, remain unfazed no matter the situation. So to see them go down 4-0 in particular, that really struck that chord with me too. So, but we'll definitely stop talking about the potential, the jinx. Don't want to get in anybody's heads. There is a lot of exciting potential there too. There's a lot of players that I'm going to be keeping my eye on. Somebody that Tommy Buckets talked a lot about was Wukong, called him the Grim Reaper for 5CE Onyx, and you don't get a name like that without having the talent to back it up. And with a team like 5CE Onyx, they're kind of like a Titan killer. They've got so much independent talent. While it's tough to keep my eyes on one person like Wukong because somebody like Jolamain is so talented, you don't get the name like Reaper for nothing. I guess that's my big point.
Exactly, yeah. And as much good as one person does, obviously, end of the day, it's still going to come down to a team game. I mean, we could see Wukong go crazy, or like you said, Jolamain, of course, 2 very good players there for Onyx. But they're going to need all 3 going really crazy all game long to be able to put this win on the board. And I think you said when we were talking beforehand, a lot of teams recently have been doing player swaps, like, mid-set. It's not a consistent 3 throughout those whole 7 games. So it kind of goes back to what we were saying about adaptation, kind of going with the flow as things go on. Totally not out of the realm of possibilities where we see 4 or 5 different players for a team. But being able to find that success, find one solid lineup that sticks, is going to have to be really, really important for either of these teams.
As we're getting closer to the point where the players are getting in, we're just waiting on Untitled Esports. They're just getting their last second preps in, getting the minds right. I'm going to go ahead and start up our prediction poll, so make sure to vote in that. I know that was a hotly contested topic last week, certainly, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. And, be sure to be in chat. Root your team of choice on. That's one of my favorite things, is to play off the war of words in the chat.
Absolutely. Always want to see all the players getting really hyped up for their teams, cheering on their fellas in the comment section. You can't always see it when you're playing in the game, but just knowing those people are there supporting you truly does make all the difference. And speaking of, thank you to Rlss for letting us make a difference coming in Cassie's sets. Of course, very grateful for them to give us this opportunity. And then one more thing to mention before we do start getting into this game, there is another game going on right now that is in this bracket, and these teams could match up in the future if things pan out, so we'll be sure to give you plenty of updates from the other set. I think Brotherhood are leading HSG 2-1 right now, so we'll definitely still keep an eye on that as things go forward. But yeah, with Untitled ready to get in here, should hopefully be starting up pretty soon. And yeah, we've said it multiple times, our first cast together on this game, really, really excited to see what these teams have in store for us.
Absolutely, and that prediction should be going live just about now. So I see a lot of Let's Go Onyx. So make sure you make those votes count, certainly, for the 5CE people hanging out tonight. Thank you for stopping by. Should be close to getting things ready. We're going to have a tiny smidge delay while Untitled Esports Red get themselves together. Still have a bit more time to hang out, which gives you plenty of time to get those votes in as well. I'm still seeing a lot of 5CE, so it looks like we got a fairly heavy favorite as far as chat goes.
Yeah, we're gonna really need to see the Untitled hype start getting up here if they want any chance of coming back. A lot of people from 5CE there in the chat. Of course, love seeing them cheer on their team. And like you said, I think we talked a lot about the players like Wukong and then Jolamain, but when we look over at Untitled, they've had a pretty big spread of players across here. Chilled Spirit played. They've had a lot of different subs lately, too, a little bit of back and forth. And I think it might relate to what we've been saying a lot, finding that balance, bouncing back in this game. It seemed like recently Untitled is a little bit more of an up and down team, than Onyx appears to be. So if I'm Onyx, you want to get off to a hot start early. You want to take that game one. It can be so important for momentum swings. As much as we talk about teams never truly out of it, you know, they're never out of it. It could be 3-0, it could be a reverse sweep, but keeping that momentum, something that is 100% always in play.
Yeah, the momentum's a big thing. And, you know, that kind of brings me back to a point that D'Lo and I discussed quite a bit, speaking of last week, is the momentum game. Untitled Esports, in particular, are a team that I've seen play their best, even in a series that they lost more recently, when they can kind of get out of the gate, get a goal off quick, kind of set the tone, set the vibe on the pitch, you know? I feel like that's something big to look for. If you're seeing Untitled Esports feel comfortable, if you see them heavily on the attack, the field dominance, and getting a lot of shots on goal from both Jolamain and Wukong in particular, I think that's kind of a big tell. That's where you can kind of look and you can say, okay, they're on it. But for Onyx, it's a similar thing. And for me, a lot of it comes from the defense. And while we are waiting for those last couple minutes, let's go ahead and take a look at some stats on the teams as we talk you through those as well. To get a better idea, first, let's take a look at the bracket. See where we're at now. Like KingFsher said, we'll keep you updated on the game going on right now that Tommy Buckets is commentating. But let's take a look at 5CE stats first. What do you see, KingFsher?
I mean, obviously, the thing that stands out first of all is that 5-2 record, only dropping 2 in this. I believe they're second ranked in their group as well, if I'm not wrong. Might have to double check that later. Now, on top of that, saves, a pretty high stat, you know, for a game. That can be really, really difficult to get, especially as some of these teams just pull off incredible shots, ones that are really, really hard to block. So, you know, keeping those out of net consistently. And of course, our goals average, saves are above, so maybe tells us more of a defensive-sided team at some points, trying to keep it out on net. But, I mean, still, all that very, very speculation-heavy. So we will have to see when we get in game just how they're going to pace it. Because, yeah, compare that to Untitled Esports here. They have more goals and more saves, but shot percentage a little bit worse. Maybe more of a more aggressive team, not necessarily ball chasing, but of course flying around the pitch, trying to get the shots of goals in. Very, very aggressive team here from Untitled.
Also, the assists are noticeable for me. If we go back to 5CE for just a second, the assists are noticeably lower for 5CE, so Untitled Esports, definitely a team that goes for some more centers. I did see some really interesting pitch plays come out from, I believe I saw them come out from Blackjack in the previous series that I watched. I feel like the setup that was there and the advantage that Kodo took in particular, that's really important to watch for Untitled Esports, because I think that's kind of where their strengths lie, the sneakiness. And I said that about Jolamain for 5CE, but I feel the same way about Blackjack into Kodo for Untitled.
Yeah, certainly going to see some good combos there. And a lot of these stats are, I mean, really similar too. This shot percentage is only about 2% difference. Assist 0.2, saves and goals. Or I guess the goal stat is a much, much bigger difference here from Onyx than it is Untitled. Because I think Untitled also register, I think, about 0.3 fewer shots per game. And they're just making them count a lot more. And sometimes it can be difficult to tell whether Onyx is just playing really, really good teams with really good defense, or if Untitled are just getting better quality shots. So I think as we go throughout that game, obviously, that's one of the biggest difference in stats. So for me, at least, that's going to be something to keep an eye on. You know, are Onyx able to get those quality shots? Are they able to get those balls onto net where they're going to force Untitled to make a play? Because that's going to be really important in this game. You can't just be flying around hoping something goes in, because that's not going to work, especially when we get into the later rounds of these playoffs. We said we'd keep you updated. Brotherhood is still up 2-1 and just took a lead with 20 seconds left in Game 4. So they're on the edge right now going to Game 3. Or Game 5, rather.
It's got me stressed just hearing about it.
Yeah, obviously that one won't play them next week, assuming all teams move on, but will meet them in those semifinals match, so certainly going to be important before championships. And yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how these teams played. It feels like we've already talked a lot about it, because obviously taking a little bit of time, these teams, you've said it multiple times, very evenly matched. Excited to see what happens. We're going to see what happens right now.
Perfect timing, right?
Very.
Yeah, we did have a slight delay getting started, so we got right into game, but it's time between Untitled Esports Red and 5CE Onyx. It's round 1 of the Surge Cup. You got to stake it now. An exciting game. Everyone's been looking forward to it. And right off the bat, Untitled Esports trying to keep the ball out of their side, but 5C Onyx, they are not playing that game. They've already got shots on the backboard. Untitled Esports already forced on the defense. But it sends across. Excuse me. Kodo gets an early score out for Untitled. What did I talk about? What did I mention, my friends?
Wanted to see those early games and seeing it there. That was unfortunate. Might have been put into their own net there from Onyx, but at that point, kind of hard to stop it. Already rolling towards it. And that 1-0 deficit, you don't want to see that if you're Onyx, but a really nice touch from Jolomane keeps the ball on the side of Untitled.
It's an aggressive start, and that's the game plan of Untitled. And 5CE, they're a team that can play. They can play well off of that defense, and if it stays aggressive, I would expect that 5CE can turn things around fairly quickly. I don't expect them to kind of get overwhelmed and run over by Untitled. I just can't see a world where that's allowed to happen. And the names issue should be fixed. Let me know.
Well, not a bad setup attempt there by Onyx. Unfortunately, not going to pan out. It's now Scripted getting some work, trying to send it down, running out of Huso, can't do much more. And hit away from the net, and Untitled have been doing a pretty good job of keeping it on Onyx's side of the map most of the time. Just as we say that, Vukon, the Grim Reaper, sends it down.
Doozy keeping it down there as well, and Blackjack potentially setting up again. Blackjack is the person who I've mentioned to keep an eye out on because of the setup that's always there, and it, unfortunately for Untitled, it doesn't work out perfect this time, but Blackjack once again just waiting back there. 5CE might need to find an answer for it as the answer from Blackjack comes out. It's a demo on Vukon, followed up by a shot. But luckily for 5CE, they keep the ball out.
Good job from 5CE. Very, very, very closely. Almost went in front of that net, but doing a really good job keeping it out. Is now Untitled goes on the attack again. Ooh, and 5CE maybe lucky attacker wasn't close. Get it out of the front of the net. Once again, it's Kodo that's looking to take these final shots. Still yet to find that angle, but Doozy with an absolute rocket into the net.
Okay, Doozy. Let him have it. 2-0 already for Untitled Esports Red. 5CE has been on the defense what feels like the entire time. And the worst of it right there happened for 5CE. An early lead for Untitled. We're getting close to that halfway point. So I'm really hoping if I'm 5CE, things can get cleaned up for a stronger game one.
Absolutely, and almost found an opportunity there. Not quite able to keep it by the net, though, as Blackjack once again sends it out. But Jolomane keeps it in. Might be getting close, but no, good defense from Untitled.
That's kind of the sneaky thing about Blackjack and company is they have that strong attack defense, offense, but they're able to play defense like that. They're able to keep it out. And excuse me, I thought there was no way, but okay, JK Scripted with an absolutely perfect follow-up on the pass from Vukon across the pitch to go coast to coast and make it 2-1.
And a great redirect there by Scripted, just getting it by Kodo. And we saw a similar goal, 20 seconds ago from Doozy. Very nearly the exact same thing, and now ball once again on the side of Untitled, but Vukon can't get there in time to put it in. For all the hype on Blackjack and the big plays they've been making, Kodo's been at the right spot at the right time, but now once again, ball in front of Untitled net. They're going to clear it out, though.
And they need to keep that up. Untitled need to absolutely kind of keep this pressure on, and that's how they beat 5CE. 5CE, like I mentioned, are kind of Titan killers. You can't let things like that happen. You cannot let a free shot get sent in by Blackjack, making it 3-1. But 5CE, their whole thing for me is kind of they like to play this attack. They like to keep the ball away. They love to play strong, clean defense. Sometimes I've seen them pass on their side of the pitch as if they're on offense more so. So I'm just surprised, and I guess it kind of fits the MO of Untitled to come out so aggressive.
And that was a really unfortunate series of event there for 5CE. I think they actually put it in on their own net just a second late to that save attempt. So never like to see it. And a good shot attempt by Doozy finds a redirect. Second goal of the game. And a beauty. Two members of 5CE miss that ball off the post. Really difficult to hit there, but that's a mistake you cannot afford to make as they go down now 4-1.
The onslaught continues from Untitled Esports Red. 5CE Onyx just cannot find a comfortable footing so far at the start of things. And that is not a great sign of things to come, but we're still in game 1. Things are still early. You can still turn things around. A nice shot like that from Blackjack could keep the aggression on, but a beautiful save from Wukong. Now we get sent back across the pitch, but it was caught by Kodo. It's going to be reset midfield, and Blackjack once again just in the perfect spot at the perfect time.
5CE really need to start putting this on net soon. Only 1 minute left, and they got 3 goals to make up. It might be a little bit harder if the ball's still on their side of the field, grappling with it. Kodo unable to find it, but still kept on net. Finally batted away by a member of 5CE. Untitled doing a great job keeping it on that half of the field, and it's going to continue. Kodo with the second goal. They are up 5-1 now with 40 seconds left. It almost looks over here for Onyx.
With that slight delay that Untitled Esports had before, I gotta know what they had. Was it a speech? Was it a group hug? I mean, whatever it was, I need some of the energy to come out of the gate, instantly make it 5-1. But like, I'm so impressed. I mean, this isn't what I expected. I expected game 1 to be an absolute barn burner, and that's just not the case. I mean, we're at a point now where it's already kind of a mental reset time for 5CE. You've only got 30 seconds left on the clock. At this point, any goals you get are more mentality goals. I'm shocked. I'm impressed. And now a demo from Blackjack too, just to kind of rub dirt in it. Insane so far from Untitled Esports Red. This is how you set the tone. This is absolutely how you can set the tone for the entire series. They continue the aggression. Kodo keeps it back on the 5CE side of things. Wukong trying to do something with some help from Scripted. They do send it back coast to coast, but with 3 seconds left and a 4-goal lead, Untitled Esports Red are going to take game number 1.
They take it in convincing fashion, and that's the way you absolutely want to start out your game. We thought it'd be a lot more back and forth, and instead it's a little bit of a stomp there, 5-1. And the one thing that stands out to me that they did much, much better than Onyx there, just playing the ball in the air. So many times it went up in midair, and it never touched the ground until it was right by Onyx's net. They certainly didn't play a bad game, maybe just weren't quite ready for that, but they need to be a little bit better, a little bit quicker about getting to those balls, because if it wasn't in their side for it seemed like 4.5 minutes, I think they would have had a much better chance. They gave Untitled way too many opportunities.
100%. I'm very surprised. I know we're seeing a lot of, kind of shock, kind of, let them cook, let them warm up type of thing, but yeah, genuinely shocked. I'm going to go ahead and run a quick ad before we get into the next one, just to make sure. Oh, it won't let me. I wanted to run an ad to make sure it happen again. Sorry those keep happening. I'm trying to snooze them when I can when they're happening during games, and I'm playing them when I can in between. So apologies if you do get stuck in one, but thanks for hanging out regardless. We are getting close here before heading into the next one. Forbidden Temple up next, and 5CE need a vibe change to say the least.
Absolutely. And for me, if you're 5CE, you don't even hate if you lose this game too. It just needs to be better. Obviously, you don't want to, but the tide needs to change. You can't lose 5-1. They have a pretty good kickoff right down into Untitled's end. And a very quick update. It looks like Game 5 at 0 seconds will be won by HSG on the other side of the bracket. So Uprising still down 2-3.
Still a close one, though. So Tommy Buckets has his hands full with that one. And important to keep our eye on for Surge. Gorgeous block there from Wukong. 5C trying to play that defense that they need to get done to keep Untitled Esports out of their side of the pitch. Untitled Esports trying to continue that same play, that same momentum rider of getting the early goals, setting the tone on the pitch and making sure that 5C can't do anything. Doozy with the demo could set things up for that, but Scripted's there trying to just clear it out. Wukong with the revenge demo, but Blackjack waiting, shot a bit off the mark.
5CE here maybe having communication issues a few times where they've all been at the same place at the same time. Unfortunately, not any ready for that shot. Blackjack going to clear it out. But yeah, 2 going for a very high ball, 3 in net. A few seconds ago there. Playing it much better now. Kept it on Untitled's side, but once again, Blackjack taking it down to their end of the pitch. But now finally might be able to clear it out here.
A nice demo from Blackjack to kind of play a smokescreen too. But unfortunately was not able to be followed up on. But still, Untitled Esports just playing so aggressive, Fish. Their entire strategy is to not let... This right here, you see this? You see Jolamain to Wukong? You see that play, that pass? That is exactly why Untitled Esports is trying to play so aggressive. If you let 5CE get comfortable, you're going to get plays like that you just cannot handle. And that's how they score. That's how they win. So Untitled Esports keeping it on this side of the field, this is exactly what they need to do.
And Untitled with a series of very nice looks there. Blackjack and Doozy both slightly off the mark. As now it should be Wukong getting it out of that end. Indeed they will. Kept in though by Kodo. Is now Untitled having a little bit more problems keeping it in Untitled's end. But what a goal by Kodo. Onyx just missed it.
Oopsie poopsie. I mean, what else can you say? That's kind of been the entirety of the field so far from 5CE. They just... it's unfortunate, but it just feels like they have not got their footing. I will say their defense has been much stronger this time, but they still can't keep it out of the side of the field that they need to. I mean, if they can just get on some offense, I can almost guarantee you they can. I know for a fact they can score the way Untitled do, but another shot off the backboard from Kodo. Lucky this time for 5CE as nobody was there to defend it. The aggression continues from Doozy, but this time Wukong's there to clear it out.
And you've been talking so much about seeing Onyx go up as a team, try to make those passes. These are almost all exclusively single-person attacks here from Untitled. They're having support from below, but we're seeing one player at a time just take it as deep as they can into the enemy zone. And just like that, once again, kept in Untitled's zone this time. Can Onyx connect? No, they cannot. One member flying a little bit too high.
Scripted with one of the best shots we've seen so far from 5CE in this game number 2, but a good defense came out from Untitled just to get it aggressive again. Scripted trying to keep it back on that side of the field to at least give a chance for 5CE. Jolamain with a nice pass and setup, but Wukong going to be slightly off the mark. Maybe Scripted can clean things up, but no! It's sent away by Blackjack, but Jolamain was there.
And now goes back into Untitled zone. Kodo can't get to it, but Blackjack can, sends it back into Onyx. And no member was back there for the orange team, and they put it right in front of the net! Barely knocked away, though. Blackjack can't make it hit. Could have been a deadly mistake for Onyx, and it's still in their end. Wukong trying to clear it, but Doozy once again gets a handle on it.
Jolamain trying to get fancy above their own net to send it back to the other side, going that coast-to-coast we've been talking about, where Untitled just don't let it over there. I keep saying the same thing. If 5CE can play their game, we might see a change of things, but so far, they have not been allowed to play their game. This has been better than Game 1. 5CE showing a strength. Wukong trying to find a shot, but it gets blocked out by Kodo, and now Doozy going to try to clear things out.
He's been impressive when the ball's in the air. Unfortunately, not able to take it. Wukong trying to get a pinch. Won't happen. Blackjack just gets to it, and now Kodo trying to take it up. I'd still like to see more coordinated attacks out of Untitled, but the last minute, a big demo. Blackjack trying to keep it at bay.
Scripted!
Wide open net.
Perfect! Look at that, 5CE fans. Rise up. You tied it up in Game 2 after a perfect demo.
A demo sets the pace, and nobody left in the net there. For Untitled, one member still at the complete opposite end of the field. Not able to rotate quick enough, and exactly what Onyx needed to happen. You talked about them making plays as a team, and you see it better there than anywhere else. A really strong take, but now ball in the air. Blackjack gets it by.
Wukong trying to send things out. Now Jolamain set up to do the same exact thing. Untitled Esports Red trying to recapture that fire and that momentum we saw in Game 1 to take a lead. 40 seconds left, tied 1-1 in Game number 2. But Doozy does get a hold of it, but not really balanced well, so it's still aggressive. Blackjack on the defense. That sends it back to midfield where Wukong's waiting. 30 seconds left, still tied 1-1. Game 2. Wukong, defense, good so far. Kodo with the demo, and Doozy with the follow-up. That makes it 2-1 with 24 to go.
The double demo, Untitled answers right back. Very nice job there by Kodo. And Doozy putting it in, and what we wanted to see from Untitled, we saw it from Onyx. Now from them, that coordinated attack proves to be just too much. 20 seconds left. Can Onyx tie this one up?
It would be such a heartbreaker for Onyx to not tie it up. But if I'm Untitled, this is exactly what I want to do. This is exactly how you continue that momentum. This is how you take 5CE's mentals and you stomp them down. Blackjack keeping it on the side of 5CE. Jolamain looking to set up. They're kind of low in boost right now, which is not the place to be if you are 5CE. Scripted sends it up. Got to keep it in the air. Wukong does pick it up, but there's nobody there to follow up. Game 2 going to go to Untitled Esports.
They get another victory. They go up 2-1. Still, though, kind of excited to see there for Onyx a much better looking game, playing much more as a team unit. It's what you need to see if you're going to turn this one around. But in the end, Untitled, the thing that we think kind of let them win last game, keeping that ball control, keeping it on Onyx's end, it didn't necessarily happen this time, but they still won. Onyx just need to get more shots off, and it's one of the stats we compared. Obviously, Untitled coming in with a little bit more goals per game made us a little worried if Onyx was just getting balls on net, maybe not getting some quality looks. It certainly looked to be a case of that. They're in game number 2. Still time to adapt. Still time to come back. We mentioned it before this one kicked off. If you go down 3-0, you're in a very rough spot.
You know, I will say, and if I'm a 5C Onyx fan, this is rough so far. That game looks significantly better, and we talked about that. But, I mean, one thing you have to admit is these two teams, especially in Game 2, we saw exactly how evenly matched they can be. I mean, I still had my pen in my hand, but I stopped taking notes. At a certain point, I just kind of got enthralled in what was happening. And especially some of that defense from 5CE. They keep cleaning it up. I truly believe that Untitled Esports will have a tougher time getting adjusted to things. I truly believe that's... I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. That's how 5CE wins.
And I'd love to see maybe a little more adaptation from 5C. Is something we've talked about. But with these pushes from Untitled, most of the time we just see one member in the air trying to do everything, and he does. Blackjack, 5 seconds in, one member does everything.
Not trying to pat myself on the back, but do you remember when I told you to keep in mind that if you see Untitled Esports coming out of the gate fast, scoring early, you know things are clicking, you know they're playing their game? This is what I meant. It keeps 5CE so off balance. I mean, you come out of a close game like that, you're trying to get the mentals back in. I'm sure there was a mini speech in between. All right, let's clear our heads. We're not down out of it yet. We're only down 2-0, and then boom, a score from Blackjack.
Not a good way to start game 3, but luckily so close in. It wasn't like last game when it was down to 40 seconds. They do have plenty of time to make up this lead. And the aerials have just been going the way of Untitled. One thing they gotta change. Nobody in net. Can't quite make the shot though. Jolamain just a few feet off, and now Blackjack gonna be able to get the ball into the air, buy some time for his team. Oh, but Kodo misses it. Vukon might be able to get it close. Hit away by Doozy.
Doozy is doing so well at clearing this ball out. Blackjack almost with a perfect follow-up. But Doozy just stopping every setup. We saw Vukon get set up perfect. We saw Jolamain with a perfect pass. That got stopped by Doozy. And now Doozy on offense. Keep your eyes on this little gray car and what it can do in defense, because that's going to be something that 5CE have got to break through. Kodo just barely off the net. Now it gets sent back out by Scripted. 5CE on offense. Maybe this is the chance. Kodo's a bit late to the defense, but Blackjack's right there. On the follow-up, Vukon, it's still dangling. Kodo gets it out. Are you kidding me? Scripted on the follow-up. Blackjack sends it back again. Untitled Esports will not let you score, no matter how clean you got it, no matter how far into the net it goes.
And a beautiful pass, beautiful play, but the flip of the coin doesn't quite go to them. Vukon, though, just hit up a great defensive play there by Blackjack to get him out of the way. Now Scripted can't make this stop, but luckily it's still going to be Jolamain back there to clear it out. Once more on net, Scripted with a second save in the past minute, but can't make the third. Doozy with the first of the game.
Doozy does it again. Gotta keep your eyes on the car with gray stripes. Didn't I say it? I keep saying it. Definitely start taking notes, because apparently it's gonna keep happening. And all that after the insane defense from Untitled Esports and the undeniable bad luck for 5CE for that goal to not go in, because that would have been a total vibe changer that would have reset the ball. They couldn't get back comfortable after that defense. Just feels like nothing's clicking. Jolamain tries to make it click, but Blackjack's there for the defense. But now Doozy, there again, might be late for the defense. Jolamain's a bit off mark, though, on the shot. A bit wide left of the backboard. Vukon trying to do the same thing, get a bit fancy. Looks like 5CE's prepared for defense early, and Doozy's going to make him pay for that. Take it out Scripted. Vukon sets up. Jolamain on the return. Had a perfect lineup, but not able to get it in.
That's unfortunate. Now a few that Jolamain has just barely missed, getting really close to the mark. Could be huge goals for 5CE, but now Untitled taking it down. Luckily, members on defense means Kodo can't get too much traction. Before this game goes further, it is tied up at 3-3 over there for Brotherhood and HSG, so a very good set on the line. Finally down to Game 7. We wanted to see it in this set. We're seeing it in the other. Luckily, though, 5CE still 2 minutes left to play. One shot on goal, a little bit too high from Doozy. Now 5CE starting to make an attack.
My goodness, Tommy, we're thinking about you certainly going to Game 7 right now, 5CE. They might have to start dreaming of the same exact thing. Currently down 2-0, like KingFsher said, we're past halftime. So they got to clean it up. You don't want to go down 3-0. We literally spent half of our pregame talking about it. Vukon with a nice demo on Doozy, but unfortunately for 5CE, they weren't able to take any advantage of it. Nobody was really in a position to follow up, and 5CE and Doozy already back on the offense. It does get sent out before anything's there, but Blackjack with a nice follow-up. Could have been a center, but Fukan will send it away, but just, again, it feels like every time, it feels like every time 5CE even go near the ball, there's somebody already flying in from midfield, doing just that! Scoring again! Doozy gets it in, making it 3-0, looking for the 3-0 lead.
We're now entering the dangerous territory, Untitled up 3-0, a minute 25 left to play. And I'm so surprised they were able to keep that. There was a 10-second period where there was one member of Untitled that had boost, and the ball still never left Onyx's end. They need to do a quicker job clearing it out, and that's cleared right the wrong way. Kodo getting it down onto Onyx's end with a good setup, a little bit too far over the net. Doozy doesn't have the space to put it in. Oh, and might be able to get it by Blackjack. A good opportunity here for Onyx, but smacked away by the defender.
But a big demo. Maybe Jillamane can follow up on this and set it up perfect, but it does get sent away by Kodo. Vukan will try to get things back again, but as always, who's there waiting? It is Doozy. Now with less than a minute left, 5CE time is running out to score anything at this rate to set up for the remainder. And as that clock ticks down, we've seen crazy things. I have seen 2 goals is kind of my limit for 30 seconds. I've seen it done, but not like that. Scripted with a perfect save off Blackjack, but now it gets sent out. 5CE need this badly, but it bounces around just off the side of the net, and that might just spell the end for 5CE in game number 3 here. Doozy and company played aggressive again, scripted with the defense, still 3-0, and with the ball on the side of 5CE, it's tough to be on Onyx right now.
20 seconds, not much time, and 3 goals to make up. Blackjack sends it back down into the zone. Onyx now ticking down to 10. Might think it's all over in a 3-0, but it's going to be 4-0 first. Kodo getting onto the board now. Every member from Untitled scoring once again in this game. And for Onyx, it's starting to look dire. You need to change something up, and you need to do it in, record time.
Yeah, absolutely. 10 seconds left. It's almost, I'd say it's definitely fair to kind of write things off here. They have a timeout they can use. 5CE can reset. I feel like you're at that territory because, when else are you going to use it down 3-0? It's very hard. You and I kind of talked about as the ball will hit, and that will be a victory for Untitled Esports here in Game 3. They take a 3-0 lead. But you and I have talked about that we've seen some crazy things in our time, right? We've seen plenty of weird comebacks. You and I have seen plenty of reverse sweeps. It's always a possibility, certainly. But the problem with it, and maybe this sounds silly, you have to do it. And that's where the problems come in, is that you have to actually make the comeback, make the plays count, and it's not an easy thing to do. I think a good timeout, a good talking to, a good reset, a good vibe check, so to speak. I think these are all big things for 5CE, because Untitled Esports, their game plan's been clear. Keep 5CE off of offense, keep aggression on. You've got Doozy, you got Blackjack for the setups, and there are a few really nice goals, and with all that, you still have got Kodo. So the MO is clear, and 5CE just have to find some kind of play call, some kind of mentality answer for Untitled, and you said it, clock's ticking.
And I think one thing they hopefully are going to be able to build on, of course, they did have a lot of improvement Game 1 to Game 2. Didn't really see that Game 2 to Game 3. They looked a lot better. They were getting better challenges. I think they were making better decisions about when to get aggressive. Wow. But Game 3 didn't see it. And now, just like that, we're in game number 4. It all ends right here. 5CE Onyx trying to keep themselves alive. They're going to need to do a lot of work.
Very surprising we didn't see that timeout come out from 5CE. But they're going to throw caution to the wind. They're going to try to keep it up. Maybe they feel like things are being cleaned up and they have the ability to turn things around yet. Untitled Esports didn't come right out the gate and score this time. So, that's refreshing, certainly, for Onyx. But the ball's still on their side, and Blackjack going to get the first goal once again within 1 minute. And 5CE, that clock, you still got time. But it's time to clean things up. Wipe that goal off your brow and move on. There's still game to play, but KingFsher, that's a tough blow.
Reminded once again that Caster's Curse is an absolutely real thing. As you say, haven't scored yet. And a few seconds later, it happens. I'm sure 5CE won't be too happy about hearing that. And for anyone wondering, in our other set, it is going to be Brotherhood taking that win over HSG Uprising. So that one finally concluded, and so is the second goal here. Doozy takes it. 5CE Onyx, we knew we needed to see a change. This wasn't the change we were looking for, though, is they're going to let up 2 goals instead of 1 early on. And gotta answer it now. There is no more time on the clock. If you go down 3-0, it is going to be incredibly difficult to come back into this game.
Oh, 100%. And, with that game going 7 games over for Tommy between Brotherhood, I'm truly rooting for 5CE in the sense of I want to see more games, but I am beyond impressed by Untitled Esports so far. A lot of game left, though. Still 4 minutes on the clock with a 2-0 lead for Untitled Esports, and 5CE do get it cleared out. Vukan leads the way. Blackjack ready for the defense. Scripted does get a demo on the doozy. That could set it up nicely. Scripted off the ceiling. Jolamain's waiting, and it gets sent in from an own goal, and Scripted will get the credit. 5CE on the board.
We see it when we needed to. A really, really good shot there from Scripted. Unfortunate. That's going to be Doozy putting it in their own net. Obviously, never want to see that happen. Trying to hit it up and out of the way. And yeah, I think we said it in game number 3, going to see it here in game number 4. They have the time to come back. It's not like the last few games, especially game 2, where they lost that lead with 20 seconds. They have time to mount a comeback, and now they only need 1 more goal. Jolamain can't quite get around in time, though. Could have been a big opportunity, but now Untitled can drive it.
Can't get complacent. You're 5CE. You got to kind of take a page out of Untitled's book. You have to keep the pressure on yourself. It seems like that's what they're trying to do. We saw them go a bit light on defense. They want to focus for the passing plays. Nice fake out there from Jolamain. Makes potential, but not going to have anyone to follow up. Joel did get a demo on Blackjack, but Vukan going to be slightly off the mark. It gets cleared out, and Doozy with the lineup. It's going to be 3-1. Untitled Esports continue the reign of Doozy. Oh, man. Doozy is the perfect name because this is a doozy of a game for Doozy so far. Just an absolute sharpshooter.
No other way to put it. We thought we were going to be seeing a ton of Blackjack and Kodo. Almost made us overlook Doozy, who's having a whale of a game. Is no one in net, though. Could have been horrible for Untitled.
Oh, it's off the backboard twice. It's a double crossbar hit. But maybe this is a turn of tide for 5CE. They bring it back down. Pitch. Jolamain lined up. Doozy's got to be perfect on the defense. But oh boy, is Doozy ever with another save for Untitled Esports. And it gets sent back again. It's going to be a 4th goal for Untitled Esports. They continue to pour it on. This one goes to Kodo.
And this is one place where you never really want to feel pessimistic, but 4 goals in just over 2 minutes, a 3-goal lead, and a 3-game lead. It's starting to feel scary here for Onyx. They managed to get 1 goal around with a little assist here from Untitled, but now might be looking to let in their 5th. Scripted, though, just in time, going to fly over.
Coming up on that halfway point, and it seems like 5CE are certainly not completely out. They want to at least give it their best, but it gets sent back coast to coast. Doozy! It's a doozy of a game. Scores again, 5-1. Untitled Esports red.
And this is a rough situation to come back from if you're Onyx. It's not a huge difference. 3 goals and 4. It's only 1 goal. Those can happen in a matter of seconds. But just some momentum, you find a goal back, but now you've given up 3 in a row in less than 2 minutes. It's a difficult mountain to climb, but they still are trying, they're still in it, and again, not too many members left back on defense. Scripted, though, going to get there in time. Keep it out for the time being, but it's still on Onyx's side of the half. It's been a consistent problem, and one that Blackjack is contributing to, but a good save by Scripted.
They'll take it. Jolamain gets the credit for that save, and it gets sent away and cleared out. So 5CE, with 2 minutes left, need to score 4 goals to force a potential overtime, and they want to stay in. 3-0, Untitled Esports, 1 win away from moving on and confirming a clean and comfortable round 1 victory when we expected this to be such a close matchup. It's impressive so far, but 5CE, I talked about being a Titan killers. They have a never say die attitude. It's not entirely too late yet. You just got to make something happen extremely quickly at this rate. They've got the players to do it, Jolamain and Vukan in particular, and Scripted has had really good defense, but even as I talk about the potential, that clock's still ticking, and with Blackjack making it 6-1, I think the alarm clock just got slammed on the counter. It might be in pieces.
I think you hit the nail on the head. There's really not much space to come back from this one. 5 goals, a minute 18. What is that, like 80 seconds? You got 16 seconds to make 5 goals each. And I just don't see it happening here. But, it is never over until it's over. Coda, though, keeping it on the side of Onyx. A really nice flip reset, though. Can't quite find too much. And now, finally, Onyx might have a chance. Blessed away very quickly, though, by Untitled. And yet again, Jolamain just can't get to it in time. And there goes goal number 7. 7-1. It's the Brazil scoreline with a minute left to play. Untitled. I mean, they just look absolutely unstoppable.
It is undeniably disappointing if you are a 5C Onyx fan, but it is undeniably exciting if you're Untitled Esports Red, because my goodness, is this a strong, strong showing out from them. And this absolutely sets up the tone for their playoffs. 5C Onyx, especially in that game 2, really gave everything. They left everything on the pitch today. Vukan will get a second goal for 5CE. So maybe I'm caster cursing Untitled. There's always that slim chance, but I'll continue on with...
You did have to get some revenge.
Yeah, exactly. I'll continue on with my point, in that essentially 5C Onyx has nothing to feel down about. Tough end, if it does end here, if nothing miraculous does happen. But we'll focus on the good, and the good Untitled Esports so far, it continues to be good. It gets set up for Blackjack, who finds another one in the net, making it 8-2. At this point, just putting an exclamation mark on a soon-to-be victory.
You gotta think here for Untitled, maybe just adding a little bit of the morale booster. Who knows, maybe even trying some new stuff out. Hard to script plays or anything like that in Rocket League, but you never know what they could be experimenting with. Still trying to run that score up, never quite complacent, as now they might get another chance at it, as it is back in Onyx's end. Set up in front of the net, not quite able to be hit in though. I believe it was Doozy maybe missing that shot by just a tiny bit. Now back on Untitled's end. Onyx looking for it, but Kodo sends it back, but a good save for the moment.
And Blackjack just ready for it. Scripted does send it back towards the Untitled Esports net, but as we've said, there's a goal from Jolamain. They'll make it 8-3. 5CE. I will never stop giving respect to a never give up attitude, and they've certainly shown that. There was more than enough talent to be had there, but my goodness, Untitled Esports Red. Insane game. With 10 seconds left, we can definitely call things here and make it comfy. It's just a matter if there's any goals on the way out. Blackjack and company will set up forward off the crossbar. It'll be set back out and cleared. One more shot. It'll go off the crossbar. That'll do it. Untitled Esports Red will take the round 1 victory. They'll do it in style. Congratulations. That's 2 victories today for Untitled Esports across Rlss. As an unfortunate end for 5CE Onyx. Tough to end there, but they had a fantastic season. Nobody can deny that, and no one can take that away. And for me, when I look back, Fisher, I will always think of that game number 2.
Absolutely was the most competitive one by a pretty wide margin. None others really come close. And of course, if there's any silver lining to take away from that game number 4, everyone on 5C Onyx did have a goal. So, getting everyone involved, trying to keep all the team members upbeat. Certainly, hopefully, they can have their heads high after this loss. Because it wasn't even in a sense that they play bad. I mean, Untitled Esports just looked incredible. From minute 1, they were ready to go. They knew what they wanted to do, and they're going to take it in 4 because of that. With a really, really strong showing by them. And it's hard to do much better, especially just the amount of goals. Not the fact that they're close wins or blowout wins, but putting that many points up on the board. If I was a team that played them next week, I would be pretty scared. You're definitely going to have to put some extra prep in.
100%. I mean, you have to watch this game, Phil. You just have to. Once again, congratulations to Untitled Esports Red, and thank you to Rlss for allowing us to cast round 1 tonight of Surge Cup. We're just setting up an interview with the players, so hang around if you'd like to hear some thoughts from Untitled Esports, assuming they would like an interview. Just waiting to hear back from the team. I'll say it one more time. That game 2 really showed the best of both, and I think, yes, the VOD will be saved after this match, and I upload all the VODs to the YouTube that's linked in the panels below my stream. And that'll be an always thing. They'll always be there. And yes, the VOD will be published. And yeah, again, credit to 5CE Onyx for a hard-fought end and a great, great season. Tough to hold heads high after losing, certainly in playoffs, but I mean it when I say it that it was impressive. But back to positive things, my friend KingFsher. We are ready for an interview with Untitled Esports Red. So we'll go ahead and move us into that channel, and we'll get talking with the boys here in just a second.
Yeah.
Let's
Hey
go
guys,
mine
how's
down
it going?
after this.
Congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
That was
Yeesh.
pretty it was a pretty impact. It was kind of an impact statement of a game. I mean, you guys definitely made yourselves known tonight. I mean, first things first. Let's start simple. Let's start fun. I mean, how are you guys feeling?
We're on cloud 9 right now.
Hey, I mean, it's hard to blame you with the way you guys played. I more than understand it. It was pretty insane. Now, one thing that I noticed both from going back in previous VOD and game films, and as well as obviously watching tonight, is you guys really put an emphasis on out of the gate aggression, trying to get an early goal and set the tempo. Is that a huge part of your play style on the pitch?
Yeah, we're a pressure team. We like to keep the ball on their side. That's kind of our goal. Yeah, that's kind of our play style.
Okay, I mean, hey, if it works, it absolutely works. Now, game 1 was a strong win, and certainly, the game 4, it kind of felt like it got to a point where it was more of a, all right, let's definitely just kind of leave an exclamation mark. Let's feel good about it going forward. But I want to talk to you guys about game 2, because that was certainly the closest game, and it really felt like that's where 5C Onyx brought you their absolute best and really made it a war. What were comms like during that game? Because you guys had a really strong game 1, so I'm sure you had a lot of momentum and confidence. Was there any point of, all right, let's clean it up, let's kind of buckle down, or did you guys feel confident through that whole game 2 when it got close?
I'll leave that one to Kodo.
So pretty much we're confident the whole time. We didn't let it bother us. That was just a one-go game or anything like that. We just got ready for the next match right after that one. The game was 0-0, 3 games 0-0, so we got to be ready. Don't matter the score of last game.
Hey, that's the perfect attitude. I mean, that's the kind of attitude you kind of have to have in any playoff setting to go far. You got to, every game's got to be completely serious until you see the victory screen pop up. And with that, I'm going to hand it to my friend KingFsher here. Thank you guys for talking with me. And Fisher, if you have any questions, please go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, it might be a little bit in line with your first question, but obviously, you all were on the attack pretty often. I mean, had the ball in 5 CEs, part of the field. It felt like a good 90% of the time. And whenever it comes to that point where, you all are forced on defense more, maybe you're not quite getting those clearing shots, is that something you think you're going to be able to adapt to or kind of have experienced? Or are you really relying on kind of keeping that tempo up in order to play your game?
Susie?
I think we're keeping the trust in our teammates throughout the whole rotation. So although we thrive on the aggression, I think we'll be fine moving forward with defending the net and stuff like that. So I'm just really proud of the teammates and how they did tonight. So
definitely got to commend you on the rotating, on the spacing. It felt like no matter kind of where the ball was, there was always someone in net, always someone on attack. You all did a very, very nice job with kind of pacing yourselves out, making sure everyone was where they're supposed to be. I mean, I don't think I have too many questions. It was very clean cut and dry, and incredible game from you guys. I mean, hats off. Did a very, very nice job there.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a lot to be proud of, and congratulations again. And all of you played really well. I mean, literally every single one of you. But I mean, some of the stuff we saw from Doozy, I mean, you guys definitely got to give some pats on the back there, especially when you watch that VOD back. There's one last thing I want to ask you guys about, because it's more for fun that I kind of saw. I want to say it might have been game 3, but it could have been game 4. There was a very weird ball interaction. The ball kind of just sat in the net of 5C. And it just kind of felt like it was stuck, or I think it was actually in your net. And eventually, you guys were able to defend it out and send it back across. What were the comms like in that? Was it full chaos of like, oh my god, it's stuck, it's stuck?
I'll tell you what I said. I said, Doozy, clear that ish, but with the S.
Hey, I mean, yeah, I couldn't think of anything else better. It was wild to watch that. That's definitely something you guys can look back on. But congratulations, guys. We will leave you to talk and celebrate. Good luck in the rest of your playoffs, whether I'm casting it or not. I hope you guys make it far and have a very competitive few series ahead of you. Thanks for talking with us, and congratulations again.
Thanks for casting.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, guys. All right, Fisher, I've yoinked us back. We can kind of give some nice, clean final thoughts. We've said plenty. Untitled Esports deserve the congratulations. They deserve to feel more than proud. 5C Onyx, that's a really tough way for things to end, but they should feel proud. Before I let you get your final thoughts in, I just want to say, big thank you to everybody who followed, a couple subscriptions tonight, and all that. That certainly means a lot. If anybody in the chat can answer this while Fisher gives his final thoughts, is there still an Rlss match going on? Is there somebody I can raid? I feel like Sporty might have had a match. Is it still ongoing? And I'll certainly raid them. But Fisher, if you could give your final thoughts.
Yeah, once again, really can't be overstated. Great job to both teams involved, getting into the playoffs, staying together that long, keeping the energy up. Never an easy feat. So, even making it to that point, should feel proud of themselves. Once again, it felt like at times during that match, it could be a little bit on Onyx's case, but they did play a good game. There's always going to be positives they can take away, and certainly should not feel bad about ending their season out that way. Then, of course, looking to next week for Untitled, a lot of great things they can build on. Unfortunately for them, a lot of incredible film they've given up to their opponents. That's just going to happen. When you have a good win like that, yeah, all around a very, very fun game to cast, and if you did enjoy watching that, make sure you do come back tomorrow night, as we have one more game from the lower division, I believe the Beast Balls against Olivet Gaming.
Yeah, and I'm very excited to get some more Olivet Gaming action cast. I love this guy's great team, and I'm excited to see another new team for Riptide, especially being that I'll be joined by both KingFsher and D-Lo through both semifinals and grand finals for Riptide. So very, very, very excited for that. Again, thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate any subscriptions. Make sure you follow. Again, match tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time between Olivet and Big Ball Beast. And you can check all the panels as well for other stuff that I do. Sporty's done. Tommy just ended. Zen Zero streaming 2v2. All right, Zen Zero it is. Thank you for letting me know. And yeah, you guys have a wonderful rest of your night. I will get that set up for a raid, and we will head on over. Thank you for playing, Blackjack. I really appreciate it. All right. There goes the raid. You guys have a great trip over there. Tell Zen Zero I said hello. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you guys next time.